Hi everyone, welcome back to If My Heart Had Wings, The Twins Route, episode 14. So right now, Asa and Yoru are asking the grandfather to see if he will fund resources to fix the glider. So in episode 13, we had an unfortunate accident where Aoi crashed, and it was because the tow cable from the winch is loose, and it resulted in the glider not having enough lift, and likewise, it crashed. So, even though the club is suspended and Aoi sustained minor injuries, the big problem is that the glider is damaged severely and they won't have enough time and money to fix it in time for the morning glory. So the twins are trying to see if the grandfather will help fix the problem. And for Yoru, it's quite a change from how she was in the beginning when she was uninterested in the soaring club and was just on the side watching Asa. So let's see what the grandfather's response is. So let's see. So something unreasonable. Something meaningless. So flying is precisely that kind of ambiguous thing. So the grandfather's like, well, it is very dangerous, and I wonder why you two, especially Asa, wants to continue with this. So, for that reason, Yoru...
夜はちと若者が何たるかを知らなすぎていたから心配しておったが、これで心配もないの。
So I think the grandfather's just testing the reaction for these twins. Like, I want to see how you would react if I said no.
Nothing gold can stay. お前のような小憎たらしい娘には最良の経験じゃ。ここで感じた熱量は貴重な情報になるぞ、夜。
それは？
自分を貫くのもいいが、たまには外気に触れてみるのもいい。お前は人の上に立つ人じゃからな。この熱量は若いうちしか経験できぬ、いわば有限式の貴重な熱量じゃ。そして人はそれを原動力にする。夜、お前は人に羨望される鳥じゃ。誰よりも高みを目指せる。そんな。じゃが、だからこそ鳥であることにとらわれるな。時には地に止まれ。歩いてみろ。それを見てくるといい。
Hold on, I'm going too fast. Let's see.
じゃが、だからこそ鳥であることにとらわれるな。時には地に止まれ。歩いてみろ。そこにしかない景色も広がっておる。
Okay.
それじゃ。
結構結構。どうせ生きておっても運が悪ければ死ぬ。死んだらそれまでの娘じゃということじゃ。必要なリスクは背負うものじゃよ。用意してやろう。資材も人材もな。
おじいさ
ま。部活も自粛されておるんじゃったか。そっちも取りやめるようわしから圧力をかけてやろう。あまり派手にやりすぎると嫌な噂が立つかもしれぬが。なあに、学校生活なんてあっという間じゃ。気にせずとも大丈夫じゃろうて。
Okay, so but before you know what happens, school life is so it should be fine without worrying about it too much, though. So, well, would that be okay? Says Ioi.
ふんふん。大人のわしからお前たち子供にいいことを教えてやろう。権力とお金は使うためにあるんじゃよ。それが若者のためであればなおよし。
Powerful.
わしもな、昔はグライダーをやっておったからわかるよ。空に見入られた。
Really? So, I can't see from here, but you were interested in gliders too? So I didn't expect to hear that. I don't think anyone did. So his past was...
初耳です。
お前たちが活動場所に使っているあそこは、昔わしらソアリングサークルが活動しておった場なのじゃよ。
なるほど。それで工具や設備が残ってたわけね。
何を隠そう、水瀬とはそこで知り合ってな。わしが OB、水瀬がサークルメンバーという関係じゃな。
Oh, okay. So apparently, Aoi's mother and the grandfather, they were part of the soaring circle back then. Hmm?
まあ、みんな忙しくなってサークルも解散となったんじゃが、そういうことがあったわけじゃ。
So it seemed almost, let's see, providential. So my mother and Asa's and yours grandfather had aimed for the sky, the same as us.
その時の知識は研究にも生かしておるよ。夜、これも覚えておくといい。人生、無駄な経験など一つもない。
And I wonder if that later became the idea for having windmills or wind turbines on Windmill Hill.
お前は賢すぎるがゆえ、視野が狭くなりがちじゃ。価値観の切り替えは発想の種になる。覚えておくといい。
So even though the glider never came to reality back then, at least the knowledge that they learned later became useful for other topics, like the wind turbine.
はい。
しかし、去年の時点ではこんなにどっぷりとハマるとはお前も思ってなかったじゃろ。
おじい様、それは。
おお、そうじゃったか。秘密じゃったの。すまんすまん。
何のこと？気にしないで。
そして、水瀬葵くん。
So, going to you, Minase Aoi-kun. Yes?
二人をよろしくの。至らない孫たちじゃと思うが。
Wait, what? So could it be that he knew about us? I'm sure he does. But both of them, wait, could that mean,
ん？どうしてそんなに驚くのじゃ？部活で世話になっておるのじゃろ？
well, I mean the club. Oh, yes, sir. Okay, now I see it. So I was the one who had misunderstood. So, okay, he was just talking about the club and not our two-time relationship.
ん？
And now Asa and Yoru kind of expose it.
ん？何か他にあるのか？
No, nothing.
です。
なんか変じゃの。
Something seems suspicious. No, I don't think so.
そうですよ。 何もないですおじい様。本当に。
Really, true.
ま、本人たちのことじゃ。わしは何も言うつもりはないが。
Okay.
道理から外れたことをしておきながら、孫娘たちを泣かせるようなことがあったら、わしは許さぬからの。
Yes. So nothing like that, for sure.
じー。
Stare. No. Let me see here. Maybe, well, he has some idea. So after that, we went back to the dorm and bathed and had our dinner and changed into our uniforms. And then we dropped by the school. We went to the secret base again. So I think the grandfather's like, well, I'm going to support it because, well, it is risky, but it is also a good experience. And being young, it's good to have all those experiences. And it's like, well, I was actually part of the soaring circle too when I was around Asa and Yoru's age. And same with Aoi's mother, which is kind of a surprise. And he's going to try to override Tobioka-sensei's orders, like, no soaring club. So they went to reassess the damage to each part of the glider and determine what materials and setup would be required. And for that reason, we secretly borrowed some special equipment from the school. So thanks to the key card and the school chairman had entrusted to the girls, we were able to carry out everything smoothly. So they were able to open up the doors to the secret parts of the school and take the expensive equipment. Oh, by the way, we didn't tell Kotori about this. Normally, we would have to tell her, but this was a arrangement that the chairman had suggested that we try out. So couldn't really be sure whether it will work or not. It was just a slim chance, and it was highly likely that it would prove completely impossible. And in any event, the requirements were too urgent. There was not enough days until the day that the morning glory would probably come. We need to fix it within 3 days, if possible, so within 1 week at the latest. So it was a situation that demanded extreme selfishness. So the situation being what it was, we didn't want to make them too excited. So we gotta get this glider fixed quickly, and we can't really celebrate or kind of inform Kotori about the progress. So that means that until this point, it was for our eyes only. So since we were able to come up with a reply tomorrow, then as soon as we do,
この辺は自分たちでも修理できそうですね。
yeah, I guess so. So there are likely to be some parts that we can quickly take care of ourselves. So we can check that, and also need to be on standby so that we can start work immediately if we got the green light. And Asa is asleep.
しかし姉さん、また寝ちゃいましたね。
Well, today was really tiring for me too, so we did a lot.
そうですね。先輩が元気なくて気疲れもしたでしょうし。
Wait, what?
先輩が元気ないって落ち込んでたんですよ、姉さん。グライダーが壊れたことと同じくらいに。だから先輩がすっかり元気になって安心したってのもあるんだと思います。まだ時間的には早いですしね。
Oh yeah, well I never even got a chance to thank her. To say thanks for caring.
そうですね。それがいいと思います。と、これで終わり、と。
So is this the end?
はい、これでラストです。あとは、祖父の返事を待つだけですね。
So we did our analysis and our investigation, and now it's up to the grandfather to decide what to do next. So why is it that, even though no doubt we don't know yet, I still feel like everything will be fine?
奇遇ですね。私もです。神様の存在って信用してませんけど、こういう時くらいは気を利かせてくれるんじゃないかなって、そんな気がしてます。
Yeah, I feel like that.
空の神様はきっと見守ってくれてますよ。
I guess so. Well, probably, for sure, yeah. Somehow it felt like it.
もうきっと今の時点で今年は忘れられない夏になりました。ずっといつまでも夏が来るたび思い出しちゃうんです。この夏のこと。なんだかそんな気がします。
And these memories will become critical heat that shapes you.
熱量。
Look, so don't windmills spin because they reverse the wind? So with this, they produce energy, and then this energy moves on to other things via electricity. The heat that you have been storing up will serve you as a force to move yourself in the future.
先輩、さらりと超恥ずかしいこと言わないでください。やっぱ変です。
Yeah, maybe so.
天然ポエマの称号をあげます。
Ha ha ha, I'm a natural poet.
大体その思い出を作る風を吹かしたのは先輩じゃないですか。
Yeah, maybe.
そうです。先輩のせいでこんな性格ちょっと変わったみたいな。責任取ってください。
Wait, responsibility? I wonder how I should take it. So there's no way I can take it. So Yoru's cheeks were stained deep red and she was peering up at me. At a time like this. So I went closer and clutched her.
姉さんが近くで寝てますよ。
Yeah, I know, but I didn't even check to see if she minded. So I just kissed her right there.
ところで先輩、ちょっと気になっているんですが。
Okay, so I think what happened was that we passed another H scene, and that's why I was kind of getting close to Yoru. So now that we're past that, Yoru's like, well, I'm a little concerned about something. Wait, so what is it?
腕、大丈夫なんですか？きつく抱きしめてもらえるのはとても嬉しいんですが。
It's fine, so it's no problem.
それならいいんですが。あまり無理はしないでくださいね。
Thank you. Well, I didn't notice until she mentioned it. It wasn't as if I had been doing some really strenuous activity or exercise, but they had told me to take it easy until I had a full recovery. So yeah, there was an H scene that happened while Asa was asleep. So I just remember something. So who's going to be the pilot then? So I can't fly the glider in this kind of condition. the doctor said it's off limits for me, so flying. So we are really slow to respond to this. We need to do something about this situation immediately. So it's really bad, but even if I luck out and make a quick recovery, it would be too dangerous for me to try to fly like this. So I thought of just sucking it up and flying, or trying to fly anyways. But I thought there was always a slight chance that I might end up being a problem for other people. So it's like when I was little and I injured myself on my bicycle, it worried my mother to no end.
何をしようが止めはしないけど、完治するまでは安静にしときなさいね。今何かあって取り返しがつかないことになっちゃいけないからさ。わかった？
So after yesterday's telephone call, since I had made the promise to her, I could not break it. So I can't take the risk and fly. So if I had to be someone other than me, someone else would have just have to fly.
まあ、もういいですね。言ってしまっても。こういう状況ですし。
Oh?
それでしたら大丈夫ですよ。代わりはいます。
So is there really a replacement?
ええ。ついでに免許も持ってます。
Yeah, but so for non-members, it's a little different.
いえ、部員ですよ。
Huh? Who? So nobody other than me has a license. So who else can fly?
私です。
Me, Yoru. Wait, what?
私、ライセンス持ってますよ。グライダー修理のめどが立ったって本当？この短期間で？
So out of nowhere, Yoru's like, well, I have a license too, so I can fly, if you can't. And I wonder how Kotori and Agiha will respond.
すごい！やったじゃん、葵！
And now both Kotori and Agiha are wondering, wow, so it's possible that this glider can be fixed in a short amount of time? So we received the information from the chairman that the repairs seemed possible, so now we are sharing this with everyone. So Agiha and Amane came to check up on me at the dorm just like yesterday. Yeah, well, it wasn't me. We had Asa and Yoru to thank for this.
それを言うなら、私というよりも、私たちの祖父のおかげですね。まさか、理事長がお金と修繕の手配をしてくれるなんて、かなり裏技的な気もするけど、甘えちゃって本当にいいの？むしろ私たちこそ大丈夫ですか？その差し出がましいというか。手段が他力本願なところがありますが。
Okay.
私は気にしないけど、葵くんはどうなの？
So what about you, Aoi-kun? Well, I didn't think it was any problem, so we got this help. So it's true that we will be enlisting the aid of someone other than ourselves, but I think that's just part of having a club. Well, I mean, our meeting place was provided for us, and we always relied on Anchan to get materials for us. And to think that we can accomplish everything on our own is just naive. So more than anything, I just think that if we have a chance, we should take it.
そうね、私もそう思う。でもパイロットはどうするの？お医者さんなんて無視して葵くんが乗っちゃう？
So also, who will be the pilot? Because Aoi is still injured. Well, I could do that, but
私が動かします。
Yoru will do it.
おお。って妹、あんたが操縦って。大丈夫ですよ。私この間ライセンス取りましたから。へえ、いつの間に？去年からおじいさまに頼んでこっそり教習を受けてたらしいです。私も知らなかったことなんだけど。
So despite Yoru being uninterested, she was secretly taking pilot lessons, and she got a license.
だって話す必要もなかったことだし。話す必要ないって、この寮に来た時にでも教えてくれてもいいじゃない。
So why didn't you tell us? Well, she probably just trained because she thought that you seemed interested in it. So it was for you, Asa.
朝ちゃんが勉強したいってなった時に教えてあげられるようにとか？悪いですか？
So, is there anything wrong?
なるほど。本当にお姉ちゃん思いなんだね。
So Yoru's cheeks began to flush, and she fidgeted uncomfortably. So Yoru is really deeply concerned with what Asa thought. But if she got her license secretly, wouldn't she end up having to get some odd jobs really quickly? So she used her family's influence and probably borrowed money when she was training. So Yoru just excelled at everything or anything she tried.
まあこれも私が勝手に決めることじゃないでしょうし、皆さんが良ければですが。反対する道理はないわよね。アゲハは？私も別に大丈夫よ。葵はそれでいいんでしょ？
Well, of course.
コモンはそれでいい？うん、いいんじゃないかな。
So even on mine, it's like, okay, that'll be okay.
それにそうなると布でやる際に問題になってくる重量問題もクリアできそうだし、夜は軽いからな。
So the glider's being repaired, but it's a band-aid repair, so there are some restrictions, and your being lighter will help address the limitations. Sayo realizes they were addressing him. Yeah, I guess so. There is a pretty big weight difference with me piloting the craft versus Yoru. Maybe.
じゃあ、夜ちゃんに決定ってことで。夜ちゃん、頑張ってね。言われなくても。まあ、ここに来るようになった最初の頃は、まさかこんなことになるとは思いもしなかったけど。
Well, me neither. So at the beginning I thought that Yoru, or you didn't really care one way or another about the club. And yet, now you have gotten so involved with it, all your own choosing.
それで福沢はどうする？そっちも決めといた方がいいと思うけど。福沢だったら葵くんが乗ればいいんじゃない？
So, we should have Aoi-kun be the co-pilot or the passenger. Well, I still have some injuries and they told me not to fly, so if we don't need a pilot, then I should not strain myself.
私がついてっても役に立たないわね。
So now Kotori?
だったら私よりも朝の方がいいんじゃない？
Okay, I think Asa is a better fit.
え？
So surprisingly enough, Kotori just gave up the seat to Asa. So okay, we should have Asa be the second person.
だってこっそり何度もシミュレータで練習してたでしょ。それに妹と息ぴったしだろうし、このチャンスを作ったのはあなたたち2人みたいなものでしょ。
So is this okay with you, Kotori?
何が？
So are you okay giving up your seat to Asa? So I mean, you wanted to fly, didn't you? So if you had it your way,
みんなで行ければそれでいいじゃない。
well, I'm okay with it. She's right. So what do you think? Wait, I don't know why they say Aioi.
それに関しても異論はないかな。朝はこの中で一番軽いだろう。
Okay, so Amai Senpai is like, what do you think of my senpai? And it's like, oh, if everyone is okay, then I'm okay too. That's right. And since the glider's performance has changed now, that probably means that this would be more appropriate. So, Asa's also light and...
私もできるなら姉さんがいい。
And even yours like, well, I want to fly my sister Nesan.
ヨルちゃん？こういう状況だし、どうせだったら姉さんがいい。姉さんと一緒に何かをやってみたい。ヨルちゃん。
So for a while, Yoru just sits silently, thinking with a meek expression on her face. So I realized that Asa is looking at my direction. She was seeking my opinion. Well, I think Asa is good for the job too, so it's really fitting if Yoru is going to be flying. Also, I thought that Asa really wanted to fly. Maybe it was because it was my lover's ego at stake, or maybe for some other reason, I don't really know why. I just felt that Asa was already or was ready to aim for the sky.
わかった。わかりました。じゃあ、私が乗ります。
Okay, so it's decided. So Yoru will be the pilot and Asa will be the co-pilot or passenger. And they were pilots of the Soaring Club aiming for the morning glory.
んじゃ、早速グライダーの修復に挑まないとね。資材はいつ届くの？
So they're supposed to be coming this afternoon. So they will be coming directly to the secret base.
よーし、じゃあ早速移動しましょうか。そうと決まれば全は急げってね。よし、頑張ろう。
So for the second time, we started on the glider repair work. So thanks to Asa and Yoru, we are going to make something of ourselves. We've already begun to lay out the basic or the path, but we are not there yet. So rather, this is where things are going to get tough. So our time limit is very short, but if we go for it, we can finish in time.
当然よ。そのためにおじいさまと話をつけてきたのだから。
So since time is running short, we are going to have to camp out here at the base. I asked everybody at the dorm if they could help us out by preparing meals for us, and they were happy to cooperate.
とりあえず簡単な食料や毛布なんかは持ってきたわよ。ポテチにカップ麺、缶詰にインスタントつけ麺。つけ麺。あとは栄養ドリンクと固形カフェインもね。
So the bag that Kanako brought from the supermarket had a really dubious smell coming from it. So is this going to be okay, Omane?
ん
So meeting up here at the base.
仕事があるからずっとは無理だけどな。まあ気にするなって言われる方が難しい。
It's like, well, I do have my own work to do so. Well, thank you for everything that you've done.
みんなには迷惑かけたからな。皆さん
手伝いに来たわよ。
どうも。
So the other boarders from the Flying Fish Manor have come to help.
あれみんなも来てくれたの？だって大変そうだったし暇だったから。まあやれる範囲でだけどね。ね、ゆかさん。
ええ。
Well, thank you for everything you've done.
あれなんだか今日は大勢いるわね。
And for some reason, Akari is here too.
どうしたんだこんなに集まって。
Oh, so what's up with all of you?
いや、アニャハが部活再開するって言うから様子見に行ってやろうかってあかりさんがさ。
いろいろあったせいで飛岡先生がうるさいのよ。当然だけどね。理事長に黙らされたとは言っても反対なんだから。
So I like how Akari mentions that, well, Tobioka-sensei is being very annoying. He's trying to fight back the chairman's opposition to shutting down the soaring club. And I'm pretty sure the chairman has already overrode the Tobioka-sensei's decision. Ahaha. Well, I'm sure Tobioka-sensei is super upset, angry.
不備のある状態で飛んでまた事故でも起こしたら大変だからそうならないように手伝ってあげようと思ってね。
So I'm here to make sure that you don't cause any more problems, so that there'll be less ammo for Tobioka-sensei to fight back against, or to use against them.
というわけだ。感謝しろよ、葵。
Yes, I'm grateful. Well, I was actually really grateful. It made me realize again that we had been supported by lots of different people.
あーちゃんが大変って聞いてやってきました。
And Hotaru's here,
おーい、差し入れ持ってきたぞ。
and so is Tatsuya.
本当にいっぱい集まってる。
これは大所帯になりそうね。もしかしたら予想より早く進めるんじゃない？
So we're going to go into overtime. I suppose if never hurts to finish ahead of schedule, right?
ええ。
So the glider work is proceeding with fervor. So we cut the cloth as needed, assembled the frame, and then stretched the cloth over it. And all the actual work was possible because of the help we had gotten from Yoru's family. We ordered all the jobs allocated to the appropriate stations in a factory owned by Yoru's family. And again, we relied upon Anchan for plenty of help with the assembly process. And managed to get a hold of some special lumber that only Yoru's family could get on such short notice. So it really made it so that the guys could hardly lift their heads.
で、これはどうすんだ？
それは美容家の方に。皆さん休憩用にジュースを注ぎました。小鳥先輩タッカー取ってください。はいは
ちょっと部屋が暑い。
Okay?
そりゃこれだけ集まったら仕方がないでしょ。つまりこれはここにこうして。
それがそうなって。
これはこうなると。これでいいんでしょうか。ハフが剥がれないように気をつけながら。
俺も何か手伝えることあるが？
So the repairs proceeded in a really upbeat fashion. And until now, there had been very low people, or very few people, so it was a little overwhelming.
先輩の人徳はすごいですね。
Well, it's not me, it's the Soaring Club. I guess this is a really good place, so I think that's why everyone comes here.
なるほど。
So it's not as if they all come here just because of me or for anyone's sake, for the matter.
まるで文化祭みたいです。文化祭の前日。
So, do you like the cultural festival?
あんまりめんどくさいですし、時間取られますし。
Well, that's what I thought.
でも、そういう価値観は理解できたかもしれません。
So the sun went down, and even though the shorthand of the clock was trying to pass the number 12, we were not finished with the club activities yet.
このむき出しになった箇所は。
So the goal was in 3 days. And there were still some parts that we hadn't received yet, including all that we could still finish up the repair work in 3 days. And the only people left are the permanent members and Kaneko. So Kotori, Ageha, the twins, Aoi, and I'm not sure if Amane is here.
顔を洗ってきたらすっきりするわよ。もしくは、
顔洗ってくるわ。
Hold on, let's see what Ageha says.
顔を洗ってきたらすっきりするわよ。もしくは目の下にメンソールとか。
Okay.
姉さんも行ってきたら。もしかして。
So I think he's already asleep.
目を開けて立ったまま寝てる。
Asa is pretty skilled, huh? So we just continued like this that day and we continued like this day and night working on the glider repairs. So I think there was also an HC that happened in between, and that's why it kind of cut really abruptly to this. So I can safely tell you that Asa was not asleep during that time. During the day, some others came to help us out. We were working to ensure that we could prepare the glider for the first flight again as soon as possible. And although it was hard work, everyone was unusually diligent. Rather, everyone worked as one, and it was fun the way we were desperately working to create something. And we were making a glider. It seemed obvious, but we had to reassert the fact. And then after 3 days, okay, so it is finished. So we have completed the glider once again. I'm sure it's gonna look different with all those bandages.
まさかあの状態から本当にできちゃうなんてね。
So before the test flight, the craft was free from damage. And in the end, we all gave it a good polish, so even the original parts shone like new.
先輩、頑張りましたね。
Asa said this as she pumped her fist in the air with a gleam in her eye.
なんとかなりましたね。
So all that hard work was not for nothing.
あらあら、ちょっと前までは諦めてましたのに。
So let's not even talk about that, okay? So I had really given up at that time.
今度は私が先輩を変えましたね。
Hmm?
いいえ、なんでもないです。
しかし本当に人にグライダーなんて作れちゃうものなのね。
俺たちは直しただけだけどな。
まあ学生のやる所業ではないだろうが、去年までやってたやつがいろいろと変態だからな。
変態はひどいぞ。むしろ今年は夜の方が。誰が変態ですか？誰が。
なんだか感動。
グライダー制作なんて普通はやらないものね。普段と違うことをやれば感動もひとしおだわ。
これで飛んじゃうんだ。
So now that's fixed, let's fly. Yep. So everyone was expressing their amazement. Well, from here on... Wait a minute, I went too fast. So, well, from here on is when the going gets really tough. So it seems as if Glider's performance will be compromised a bit. But for the moment, it was complete. We need to start considering what we had to do to reach the morning glory. Okay. So first, we need to take it for a real test flight to see how it fared. So how are the repairs?
去年から合わせてほんと何度も飛ぶための準備ってやつをしてきたわよね。壊し壊れて届かなくて。
So it was like that? Well, I don't know. So we aimed, we gave up, we didn't make it, and then we tried again.
そうね、そんなもんだと思う。
でもこうやって作ってると普段何気なく私たちが見たり触ったりしてるものが少しだけ身近に感じられますよね。ああ、きちんと人の手で作れるんだって知ることによって親近感が湧くっていうか。
Well, if you don't know it, then you'll misunderstand it. So if you know it, then you'll somewhat like it. It's always going to be like that.
確かに。
Yep. So after that, we raised a toast with the juice that Kanako had bought. So despite the fact that we had finally only gotten back to square one, even though everyone else had already gone back home, Asa, Yoru, and I lingered on.
あっという間の3日間でしたね。
So yeah, we were in a panic.
私すごく楽しかったです。いい思い出になりました。
So a huge smile like a sunflower covered Asa's whole face. So it wasn't rough for you, so you know the lack of sleep.
全然。強いて言うならしばらくみんなで一緒に過ぎたせいで先輩とラブラブできなかったことが辛かったです。
Haha, well, I'm happy to hear that. Well, of course, I too was suffering from a slight flirtation deficiency. So we were all really busy and everybody had been around, but it wasn't just that. So there's also the pure physical burden of sleepless nights in the forced march to rebuild the glider. And we had promised beforehand to concentrate out on our efforts on completing the project from beginning to end. And so the two of them, and of course me too, had been consumed with our with our mad dash to complete the project. Wow, so everybody really put a lot of serious effort to this.
先輩。
So Yoru hugs me gently. And just then Asa came and clung to me like a magnet. Wow, you two both worked hard.
先輩もですよ。
Also you.
だからこれは先輩にご褒美です。
姉さん自身のご褒美のくせに。
それはヨルちゃんもでしょ。
Well, everyone can be rewarded then. Okay, huh?
先輩。
Sasha blushed her cheek against the arm she was clinging to. On the opposite side, without saying a word, Yoru did exactly the same. And their noses were a little...
どうしたんですか？
Well, I don't know, just tickled a bit. Yep. So what's up with that eerie smile? Wait, wow. So both my arms held back, she began poking my ribs.
それ！
So I was being attacked on the other side too. Poke. Hey, stop it.
やめろってことはやれってことですね。
Hey, not that kind of promise. So I had fallen back after getting carried away with the licking from the two of them. Wait, so are you girls okay?
私は大丈夫です。それより先輩の方が心配です。
Well, I'm fine. So I'm pretty confident in my sense of balance.
ごめんなさい。先輩が面白かったからつい。
So I wanted to react by saying something, but I figured it was okay. Well, I'm glad that you could snap out of it so quickly, but are you really okay?
はい。
姉さん、やりすぎ。
反省します。
Well, if I wasn't injured, it would be fine. It's been a while since we goofed around like this.
3日ぶりですね。
So our work is finished. So now we can cut loose and... for a little bit. Wow, but no poking. Anything but that.
私はただくっついています。こうしていると安心しますから。
私もくっついてると安心します。でも安心しすぎてついいたずらしたくなっちゃって。
So can you just be patient and stay like this a little longer? Sasa responded with a yes, and Yoru just nodded. So the three of us lay there on the bed, side by side, looking up at the ceiling. I'm happy. I had two lovely girls by my side. And as girlfriends, no less.
こうしてると頭の中が溶けちゃいそうです。
その表現、よくわかるわ。
I think I do too. I murmured, stoking their hair as they nuzzled against me. And for the past few days, we hadn't been able to take the time to be close to one another like this. And the entire soaring club had summed together to complete the glider, or had come together. So we finished, huh? Everyone's efforts just crystallized to make our dream, the glider, a reality. And the only thing left is to fly, and when I thought about that, I felt even more relieved. So we really worked hard. I spoke to both of them while stroking their silky hair. But still, Asa's asleep. And so is Yoru. The two of them both fell asleep. Oh well. Anyways, I gave them each a little kiss on the forehead and then gently closed my eyes. Okay, so I think the HC actually happens during that part when the three, so Asa, Yoru, and I would decide to sleep together in the secret base or garage. So anyways, it's now the next day, and I think this is the day when the morning glory comes. Oh, so they're doing test flights. So how are things going, Asa and Yoru?
バッチシです。これでもかってくらい良好ですよ。機体も安定してますし、何も問題ないです。
私の方でもきちんと操縦できてます。改造は成功っぽいですよ。
So I could hear both of their lively voices over the radio. And the refurbished glider is sailing through the air without a hitch.
操縦の方も問題なさそうね。
朝ちゃんもちゃんと飛べてるし。
So at first, it was a success. And I let down my guard and got into the accident and ended in failure.
気持ちよさそう。
So when I saw them flying around like this, enjoying themselves, I could not help but feel a tinge of jealousy. So I watched my injuries, or I wish my injuries would heal quickly and I could fly again. So the test flight was completed smoothly, and afterwards, on the day of the performance, we just awaited the arrival of the morning glory. And then... So after the successful test flight, we returned to the secret base. We were tired, so we went out for a break, and then at the exact moment...
空が。先輩、あれ。
Oh, no doubt about it. On that day, in the eastern sky, like the backdrop of a different world, a mysterious sunset stretched before us. And the cell phone rings, and I took it without even checking the screen.
葵、空見てる？
Oh, so it's Ageha. So, do you see what I see? Yes.
いよいよ来るみたいね。明日。
So from the tip of the handset, I could tell that it was a very excited Ageha. I'd also been straining to catch my breath, and I could feel my heart pounding. No doubt about it, it was a harbinger of the morning glory.
きれい。成功したら、先輩はハーゲンダッチとつけ麺ですね。
So we were finally there. We're going to take to the sky again. So the next morning... Okay, so his alarm clock rings. Oh, it's morning. I woke myself earlier than usual. Okay, time to get ready. After crawling out of my bed, I stretched myself out good and started dressing. And even though I had just woken up, I felt very awake. I guess I must have remained slightly conscious all night due to my excited state. Okay. So I went down to the dining hall and began to prepare breakfast for everyone. Okay, so I noticed that I'm close to an hour on this Let's Play episode, so I'm going to leave the rest to the next episode, and I'm pretty sure that will be the last episode for this route, the twins route. So it looks like the morning glory has come at the right time. Well, they barely made it, if you want to look at it from a more realistic standpoint. So they're able to repair the glider, even though it's not as perfect as it was before the crash. But hopefully it does stay put and it can fly. And this time it's not going to be Aoi who will be flying the glider because of his injuries. It'll be the twins. And it creates kind of an interesting atmosphere having the twins occupy both seats in the glider. So we'll see how this works out and what the response is from the ground. So Kotori, Ageha, Aoi, Amane, and the others. And whether or not they will make it to Morning Glory without any trouble. And how this route ends. So Yoru's route or the true route for the twins. And with that in mind, I'll see you in the next episode.